Hi, Annette again. Continuing with the idea of selfishly serving the world. So today I want to take a more detailed look at some of the elements of this E+R=O formula. Last time we saw that when we choose how we respond to an event that's taking place in our life, especially a tricky one, we can turn things around and make things work well for us. So let's look a bit more closely at why this formula is so tricky to work with sometimes. If we look at the middle part of the formula, the R, the response, we can see that actually it's divided into 3 steps. The first step is the thinking response. We think a thought to ourselves. It's actually our own personal interpretation of what's going on in this event. The thought might be something like, well, that's just not true, or that's just not fair, or they do that as well, or this person or group of people are totally biased against people like me, or that's such a middle-class idea, or one of thousands of other different possible thoughts. But basically this is just our interpretation of what's going on. And there's a lot of research that's been done over the last 20 or 30 years by scientists from different areas. Joe Dispenza, Greg Braden, Bruce Lipton, that would indicate that when we think a thought, it actually produces a chemical reaction in our body that creates an emotion within us. So an emotion is the body's response to a thought, as Eckhart Tolle says. So when we have this emotion, this is the second stage of the R process, the feeling response. This is all powerful, it takes us over. We feel sometimes we're being pulled across the room by our emotion and we can't do anything about it. And the problem with an emotion is it creates our actions. All of our actions are created by the way we're feeling. So if we're feeling fearful, we're going to act in a way that shows that. If we're feeling angry, we're going to have an angry response. So if we're going to properly use E+R=O, we need to have some techniques for managing our emotions. And in the next video I'll share a technique with you for actually dissolving emotions. But in the meantime, a major thing which we can do in order to manage our emotions is to take control of our thoughts. A thought doesn't just happen to us randomly. We can observe our thoughts and we can choose to think a thought that's more useful. So if a person is behaving in a rude or aggressive way around us, we don't have to let it trigger an emotion in us. We can push the pause button and ask ourselves a question that makes us curious, or what if they're having a bad day today? Something which will change our thought processes and get us more engaged in curiosity rather than just a knee-jerk response. So to summarise, the response process is divided into 3 steps: the thinking response, the feeling response, and the action response. And we can control all of those initially by the way we allow ourselves to think. So next time I will share with you a technique in which you can actually dissolve your emotions. So if you're having a negative emotion, you can actually dissipate it completely so that you can take more control of your thoughts and therefore of your actions. Until then,